This, Glenn, I know everybody knows me here, but I'm probably not gonna get through this all. But, when I was like 22, we got a hunt camp up in UP. And I was a Rhodes Scholar in college. So I was going to a lot of different colleges because the ones throw me out and I went to another one. But it was so much fun. And so then the boy says, "Hey, you coming up deer hunting this year?" I says, "Hell yeah, I'll come up deer hunting." It's my brother Doc bought 230-06s because I didn't have a gun. And so we went up, and Julius Jaworski was a great old friend of Dad's. Pat Sonoris, another rascal that kicked it with Dad for probably 50 years, 40 years. And so, me being just a college dude, I didn't know how to hunt deer, but so the boy took me under his wing. He's, "You're going to meet with me and Julio tomorrow morning." So we're driving towards the point. I just had this feeling. I said, "Oh boy, Julio, stop the truck." We're three abreast, and it's not like these new trucks. I said, "I want out here." He said, "Oh boy, you don't know. I said, "Dude, I got a feeling. I want to go out here. I've never had deer hunted in my life." And I was probably hungover, to be honest with you. The card games went late the night before. And so I just slide down this trail. I thought, "Oh man, this looks like a deer trail." The boy taught me. I slide down this deer trail. I tucked up in a little bit. I'm sitting there, and the boy said, him and Patty will be back at 11. I said, "All right, I'll be out to the road." And about 9 o'clock, I had this beautiful, I had two does run down this trail with a nice big 8-point. And I'm thinking, holy shit, oh my God. Whoa, boom. I got this, my first deer ever, this big 8-point. Dad and Julio, they're old time. Julio's got a whistle, the old boy's got a whistle. And so I come out to the road. My dad says, "Hey, was that you shooting?" I said, "Yeah, Dad, I shot a doe." He goes, "Oh my God, Glenn, oh dude, oh my God." Oh, because it's illegal in Upper Peninsula. But I got that big buck and I covered the head all up with leaves and everything. And I said, "Dad, you gotta come." And he commanded Julio get on the whistle in case there's a vehicle coming. Julio's probably 80 at this time. And me and Dad walk in. I said, "Dad, I really don't know where it's at." "Oh shit, there's some blood over here." I said, "Oh, I think I got it, but I don't know where it's at." And he walked up on it and seen them horns and kicked the leaves off it. Just hugged, high-fived. My first deer with Daddy. Excuse me, sorry. First deer with Daddy-o. Holy crap, look at it, whoa. So we drag it out. And Dad's got his whistle, you blow it, then Julio blow it, and there's a car coming, Julio's blowing, there's a car coming. "You think I got this doe?" It was a nice big 8-point buck.
Oh my God, Pop Day concert.
I'll be proud.
Welcome, friends and family. I think probably everybody knows that I'm Keith Jr. It is with pride and honor to speak on behalf of my father's life. I believe, and I could be corrected by some of his siblings who are present, his mother and father moved to Alberta, Canada, a few years preceding his birth during the Great Depression times in the 1930s. Would that be correct? Something like that. In any event, he lived there for a number of years and told stories of riding on a dog sled in the great Canadian Alberta tundra. How true those are, I do not know, but I thought I'd share it with you.
We got pictures.
Finally, they moved to Monroe, Michigan, where his father, Bud, started the Haddix and Sons farm implement and granary business, as well as farming local land. They didn't start the granary business early on, and they moved right downtown by St. Mary's Church on, see if I got this right, 38 East Willow Street.
Yes.
Here's the part that I'm not really 100% sure, but his father, Bud, operated Monroe Airport on Dixie Highway. This is where Keith and his older brother, Jack, acquired their passion for flying. My father was an adventurous and ambitious soul. It was at the airport hangar that Keith built his first and only 22-foot cabin cruiser boat. A boat that he welded from sheet metal and was composed of marine plywood as well. And the gas tank, it had a 50-horse Evinrude engine on the back, which still lies in state out at the ranch in the pole barn. It actually floated, and the family enjoyed many evenings cruising and swimming on the shores near Sterling State Park in Bowles Harbor. We also made a few trips to Put-in-Bay on the vessel. Haddix and Sons displayed their farm implements at the Monroe County Fair on a yearly basis. It was said that Bud resumed the Monroe County Fair on his airport property upon the completion of World War II. There again, I'm going from hearsay that my dad passed on to me. My mother, Catherine, bore 8 children in 12 years. Exactly 12 years to be truthful. First and last, born on the same day, February 24th. 8 children, 12 years, no twins. It seemed that we had yearly overnight stays at both grandparents' homes while Mom was doing her motherhood thing at a Detroit hospital until baby was brought home yet again. This is where we developed a nice and meaningful relationship with Uncle Tom, Aunt Sharon, Aunt Sally, and Aunt June. And we were devilish young children, but somehow they persevered for the 3 or 4 or 5 days that women stayed in the hospital when they were bearing children in those days. Later on, Dad built our house in 1962 with the help of family, friends, and some local tradesmen. We moved out to 755 Ida Mabee Road sometime after Grandpa Bud Haddix moved the farm implement dealership and started the granary business out on North Custer Road. We raised sheep and a few cattle, and even had a few horses and ponies to ride. The ranch, as it became known in later years, was home to many football, baseball, and basketball games with cousins and neighborhood kids that lived nearby. Dad rented nearby farmland where we brothers learned to till the soil. Our neighbors, Andrew and Mary Bowerly, just to the north of 755 Ida Mabee Road, they were somewhat elderly at the time, probably not real elderly, 60-ish, and were not able to have any children of their own. They gladly welcomed the Haddix farmhands, the Great Eight, as we later became known, milking cows, feeding chickens and ducks, gathering eggs, baling hay and straw, the whole farm chore thing. Mary Bowerly also prepared a 3-course meal after chores, which helped immensely with the Haddix food budget. Many, many times, Mom would say, around dinner time, "Hey, Keith, Gary, go over and help Mr. and Mrs. Barley milk them cows." Which we gladly did. And I'm telling you what, Mary Barley would put on almost like a Thanksgiving dinner every evening with apple pie, rhubarb pie, strawberry rhubarb pie, you name it, it was there. So we were well fed. In the late 1960s, Dad got the idea from an uncle in Flint to open a new, exciting business. Within a year or so, the 25-cent Flat Rock Car Wash came to fruition, was built by us and opened. This helped my dad escape the dusty factory job at Dundee Cement, which he disliked so much after the Haddix and Sons dealership and granaries closed down. Dad had to go to Dundee Cement to keep the family alive and well. One night around midnight, he woke Gary and I to go to Dundee Cement and pick up his tools. He reminded us of the nasty smells and dust and told us to study hard in school so we wouldn't end up working, in his words, in a dreadful place like this. It did pay the bills, mind you. The entrepreneurial spirit that he possessed contributed to his disdain or dislike of punching the clock. As we grew older, the old boy, as he became known to us, spent a good deal of time going to and watching and cheering on at our sporting events. This continued on in later life with his grandchildren as well. I was fortunate to be part of the Haddix family and am grateful for all life's lessons that Keith Sr. and Mother Catherine taught and instilled in us. God bless my father, and I am sure he was welcomed into heaven by our God and his deceased family, brothers and sister, father and mother, and friends. Oh yeah, Dad, the Lions lost once again. That's all I got. Thank you.
It's great to see how one person can bring together so many people. I want to say a few words in memory of my grandfather, Keith Haddix, also known as Gramps. Gramps lived a remarkable life, one that inspired me greatly. His adventurous attitude, his broad range of interests, and his ability to get along with everyone he met. He had a great perspective when it came to the little things, never displaying anger or impatience, and instead showing great dignity and power. He extended his philosophy no matter what obstacle he faced, a quality that no other could master. I will miss his silly adventures, his stories about opening his car washes, and the update on the Dundee wrestling team. Some of my fondest memories with Gramps are far from simple, yet very special moments we spent together. I can still picture the Sunday mornings we spent in the kitchen, the small pancakes filling the air as we flipped them together. Laughing over spilled batter, or when one pancake would turn out a little too crispy, he would always say, "That one's mine." We'd often take a ride in his golf cart, cruising around the yard or down the road, with the wind in our hair and his jokes making everything feel like an adventure. Grandpa had his way of telling silly stories, tales that always seemed to be a little exaggerated, but so full of charm they never failed to make me smile. Those moments with him, whether we're cooking, driving, or just listening to his latest funny tale, are some of the most featured times I have. Gramps was the kind of man whose love was quiet but constant, like a steady beat of a heart. He wasn't someone who needed grand gestures to show his care. He showed it in the small things, like the way he would hold my hand when we walked together, or the twinkle in his eye when he shared one of his stories. I can still hear his voice, full of warmth and wisdom, guiding me through the moments when I felt lost. But now, that voice is gone, and it feels like a piece of me has vanished with it. I miss seeing him tilt his head back and hearing the sound of his laughter. The way he would always make everything feel safe, even when life was hard. He was my rock, and now though I hold on to the memories, there's a part of me that aches for one more pancake, one more golf cart ride, and one more of his stories that would make everything feel alright. Grandpas like him don't come around very often, and the world feels a little emptier without you in it. I love you, Gramps. I also have a poem that I wrote for him. Grandpa's hands so warm and strong, a steady guide where I belong. We'd make pancakes laughing all the while, flipping them with his gentle smile. In his golf cart we'd race the breeze, through the yard and past the oak trees. With every turn, a story told of adventures both funny and bold. His voice, a melody full of cheer, a soft laugh that I hold so dear. Each moment with him, a gift so bright, filling my heart with pure delight. Now though time has moved along, his love stays with me like a song. Grandpa forever in my heart, where memories love will never part.
A tribute to my hero. Passing of my dad left a void in my life that's impossible to fill, but his memory is a constant source of light and guidance, even during the time that I am so broken. I should have written this article or a heartfelt letter for a late father. However, the most I can do is pray that my message reaches him in heaven. God knows how much I miss him and how much I dream that I can hug him one more time. My father was a man of unparalleled integrity. He believed in doing the right thing, even when it was hard or unpopular. His honesty and strong moral compass were clear in everything he did, from his career to his relationships with family and friends. He taught me that integrity isn't just about honesty, it's about being true to yourself and your beliefs. At his core, Dad was a family man. His love for Mom was a beautiful example of partnership and commitment. My father was tough when it comes to discipline, but as soft as cotton when it comes to my mother. They had a bond built on respect, understanding, and unwavering support. As a father, he was patient, kind, and always there for me when I needed him. He never missed a milestone and was always so proud of everything all of his children accomplished. Dad had a way of giving advice without making it sound like a lecture. His words were thoughtful and rooted in all his experience. Whether it was about dealing with life's ups and downs or making an important decision, his advice was always spot on. He taught me to approach life with curiosity and an open mind, always ready to learn something new. One of the most important lessons Dad ever taught me was to find joy in the small, everyday things, whether it was a quiet evening at home, a family dinner, a walk in the beach, when he took us in his man-made boat. He showed me the beauty in the little things that make life special. Those moments, he believed, were what truly made us happy and fulfilled. Dad was one tough cookie. He faced life challenges with courage and grace, never letting them define him. His ability to stay positive and hopeful, even in the face of adversity, was truly so inspiring to me. He taught me that strength isn't just about being physically strong, it's about having emotional fortitude and ability to keep going no matter what. Even though Dad isn't here physically anymore, his legacy lives on in the values he instilled in me and others. I will strive to honor his memory by living a life of integrity, showing love and kindness to others, and finding joy in the simple things. His influence is woven into who I am, and I'm forever grateful for the time we shared. As I reflect on Dad's life, I can't help but feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. He wasn't just an amazing father, he was an incredible human being. His love, wisdom, and strength continues to guide me, and his memory is a source of comfort and inspiration. Even though Dad's gone, his spirit lives on in those he touched, and his legacy will always be a part of me. Dad, I miss you so much. God knows how I want to hug you and tell you the things I never said when you were here. All I can hope is that my message reaches heaven. Your life was a gift, and your memory will forever be a treasure to me. My promise to you, Dad, I will take care of Mom and carry on your legacy. I will make her coffee for her. And I have a funny story my mom told me 2 days ago. Mom's friend, Frances Price, invited her to her graduation party. Dad was invited to the same party by one of his friends. My mom lived in Belleville and Dad lived in Monroe. Small world. When he walked in, he laid his eyes on Mom and told his friend, "I'm going to marry that gal." He asked Francis many questions about Mom, and the next day he drove his homemade boat and docked it in front of Mom's house on Lake Belleville. The next door neighbor was rich and had red hair and freckles and wanted to date Mom so bad, but Mom would never date a redhead with freckles. A few days later, Dad landed his airplane in the field off I-94 across from Mom's house. But to his surprise, the police were there waiting for him when he returned. I asked Mom if she enjoyed flying with Dad. She said she went with him one time and he did dips and crazy maneuvers. I asked Mom if she was scared, and she said, I was too dumb to be scared. She thought it was part of flying. Well, I'll miss him. He was the best father.
Beautiful, Bonnie. Anybody else? Go ahead. Sure, go ahead. Go on. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were looking.
Well, liar and fire, you got it, brother, you got it.
A tribute to Gramps. Gramps grew up in times that were vastly different than they are now. He grew up facing challenges that most could only imagine.
She can't hear.
Gramps grew up in times that were vastly different than they are now. He grew up facing challenges that most could only imagine. Through his hard work and determination, he built a life filled with purpose and integrity. From a tender age, I was blessed with a wonderful grandfather, as did the rest of my cousins. But I was doubly blessed. From the earliest moment that I can remember, there was a man in my life whose presence was like that of a giant redwood tree. His presence was a cornerstone of my life, but then there was more of a role, the role of a father. One that provided unwavering support and endless wisdom. He was more than a grandfather. He was a beacon of strength and kindness, shaping me into the person I am today. As he passed, a profound silence filled the space he once occupied. It was as if the world held its breath, mirroring the way that I felt in that moment. The man who had always been there, whose voice had been a constant melody in my life, was now gone. When he left us, he took my breath away, leaving an indelible void. Yet, in the midst of this heartache, I found solace in the memories we shared. His laughter, his stories, his endless love remains etched in my heart. A testament to such a remarkable man. Though he has passed, his legacy lives on within me, a guiding light that will never dim. Gramps, you were my father in every way that ever mattered. And your deep absence is deeply felt as I navigate this world without you. I carry your memory with me, knowing that you're still watching over me, still guiding me, still loving me. Fly high, Gramps. Your life was a gift, and the 49 plus years I spent with you are something that I will cherish always.
can say is he made me who I am today. Just provided and give me support of any wacky idea I had, whether it was building furniture that was probably ugly, but he thought it was nice and gave me encouragement, you know. When I was 5th or 6th grade, I thought it was great, beautiful, but yeah, but he gave me encouragement. And then, you know, I decided to have another wacky idea and build a go-kart with big tires, not the typical go-kart where I think most everyone at my age had the small wheels, but no, I wanted one with big tires, and talked with Dad and convinced him that we would work on this project together. I hustled some of the parts, bought a motorcycle engine from Jaws, was it? Tom would know, was it Jaws? A little Honda. He had a 90cc motorcycle engine. So I didn't have a Tecumseh engine, I had a Honda motorcycle engine. So, but he, you know, we went back to the barn and he taught me how to weld. I definitely needed his help, you know, with putting the engine together, but he got me started on it, tacked it, and allowed me to finish. Probably wasn't the prettiest weld jobs, but he encouraged me again. Yeah, looks good, Paul. And you probably remember the go-kart with the cafeteria chair for a seat. So I had that vision with him, I shared it with him, I remember, you know, that brown truck he had. We were going and I goes, Dad, I want to build this go-kart, go up and down ditch with big tires. You know. Anyway, I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him a lot. He just was there for me. Went to all my football games, wrestling. He was, you know, we had a lot of fun. I hope I brought him fun too, but he made life fun. It was memorable, and he's gone now. I'm gonna miss him a lot. I love you, Dad. I'll always keep you in mind.
I'll tell you guys a couple of quick stories, nothing long. It's a story about him. He was a rascal when he was little. You know, when he was growing up, middle school, even probably grade school. One of his favorite stories is him and his buddy Myron out in LaSalle on the way to school. Apparently they had trouble with his teacher. So he had a bright idea when they were walking to school, a little milk snake. He said, that'd be a good idea to put it in her desk. And so he got there early, put it in the desk, and they sat back, waiting for her to get the pencil out. And when she opened it up, she screamed like murder. But him and Myron were the only ones that knew about the snake. And I don't know how they kept the secret, but he says he never got disciplined for it. Second quick story was, he got in a lot of trouble when he was young. Red hair, freckles. So the teacher would always grab him by the hair and shake his head and, you know, give him trouble. So he had a bright idea, go to the barber shop, cut it as tight as he could, so the next day when he got in trouble,
the teacher couldn't grab his hair and, shake it, so he thought he outwitted her, but, I'm sure she had some other disciplinary actions against him, but, he always laughed. I mean, a belly laugh, and he'd tell those stories, and he would never get tired of telling those stories, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. He's the best father ever. We're all been touched by him, one way or another. I just hope I'd be half the man he was.
Gramps. I'm gonna miss calling them and just saying, hey Gramps, got you a breakfast sandwich. Or hey Gramps, I had a baby on your birthday. He was my hero, my everything. He didn't like tattoos very much. And he told me, definitely, Sarah, you're not gonna get one. He didn't like me going to concerts alone either. But I got my tattoo and he said, Sarah, you better not go to that concert alone, like you just better not get that tattoo. And I said, well, Grandma, I got a tattoo. So Grandma looks at it and it's her writing and she's crying and she's proud. And here's Gramps. Sarah, let me see it. I said, Gramps, I promise you I wouldn't show you if I got it. But I got his airplane number on my hand. And 4767 Juliet. Even though he wasn't proud of that tattoo, he was proud of what his granddaughter did for him. My biggest fan, my biggest hero. Thank you.
Anybody else? Gramps was always my mentor and my rock growing up. He was my hero and my saving grace. And I know he'll continue to watch over me and guide me through life. My greatest memory with Gramps was surprising him on Thanksgiving evening in 2006 with a video of my first solo flight. He was so surprised and so happy. He had no idea I was even taking flying lessons. And from that day forward, every time we flew, he would make me fly in the left seat. I am who I am today because of Gramps and Grandma. And Gramps taught me everything I know, and he taught me to be a good person. And he took me under his wing, and I will forever be grateful to both of my grandparents. And I promise Gramps that I will always come and still visit Grandma and play cards and Wizard and Russian Bank, because that's what he would want me to do. I just want to tell Gramps that I love him forever. Thank you.
So this one's from me and Viv, and it starts, Gramps, your 92 years of life was filled with worldwide events. events. Your 92 years of life was filled with worldwide events and memories within a very short 16 and 13 years. We were able to accomplish so many adventures, including flying up to Hootie, eating the world's best pancakes, card games, and more. You didn't only leave a huge impact on me, but anyone else who crossed your path. Thank you for always keeping me on my toes, especially when driving too close and too fast near the ditch filled with monsters. Going to Michigan would always be a new adventure. Because of your weird but fun stories, dances, and jokes, you will always be loved and remembered. Thank you for everything you have done. Love you, Gramps.
Well, I wasn't planning on coming up here, but since I'm one of the 8, I don't have to repeat what they said because we all shared in Dad's love and guidance, and again, he'll be truly missed. But speaking of planes, I didn't have to get my my pilot's license because every time I went up with Dad, you got controls on both sides. So once Dad took off and got leveled out, he would allow, thank you, Dad, for us to fly. Whether, we fly to Findlay or Jackson for lunch. So if Dad called me up, and the only time he called me up to go to lunch is I knew we were flying to a restaurant for lunch. Jackson had a restaurant right on the airport, and Findlay, and we just, did it not often enough, but never hit a restaurant on the road. So that and just a super guy, just loved him. Grandkids, great grandkids, they all got the same treatment. Just the fun, loving Grandpa Gramps, and we surely will miss him, and just love him to death. So thank you for coming. I'm sure he touched everyone's lives here one way or the other, and we'll just never forget it. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone who did share. This does conclude services here at the funeral home. However, viewing does continue until 8 o'clock. So feel free at this time to get up and enjoy each other's companies until then. Thank you, everyone.